Um, I don't know if it started, but my bad. The other video got cut off, and I hope that this can be added to the other video that was uploaded. But yeah, as I was saying, I really like that we had crap sheets, and then that it helps me because honestly, before I would just search about like for other classes that had English, and then we had to research on stuff. I would just get whatever information I could from the internet, and sometimes it wasn't even helpful. Like in this class, we learned about the signs or like the things we have to look at in websites that have information, such as like, is there many ads that like that could signify that it's not really like a good source. Also, like um, where is it? Like, is as you can see, I don't know if it's this one or loading. Or one of these links. Let me see if it comes up. It wasn't the best link that I got, but honestly, that helped me like this crap sheet helped me understand that not all sources that are in the internet are good. You see, this one was I was researching for serial killers and their writings, and I found this website that had a bunch of advertisement, and not really the information is really small. There's not on every person there's literally like 3 paragraphs, and not even talking about, not even showing their books or anything. Like it wasn't that I could have used in my paper, and I wouldn't have known that unless I didn't have these questions that told me that, oh, it's a source that it's old, or the information is new, or we have to read. Also, there's this part in the crap sheet that, oh yeah, the source of the information and the publisher. If their credentials doesn't exist, it most likely means that like it's not a good source. And I've learned that in this class because in other years, like in high school or like last semester, I would have just picked whatever quote I could have find that seemed real and implemented that on my paper, and most likely my paper would have looked stupid, to be honest. And then how I applied it, I would think that after this, honestly, these crap sheets I'm gonna do every time I have English writing papers, because they helped me so much. And even if I didn't use the information, I could go back and like for other information or other sources that I found, I always implemented these questions in it. Like in the back of my head, I was like, oh, is this old or is this new? Is it a new source? Is it talking about my question? Is there more information on the person that wrote it? Also, I feel like I learned a lot about peer feedback processes. For example, on my project, I did it on the journal entries of like serial killers, and I based it on, or like, sorry, I meant to say like the information that I provided was for people who were in jail, like serial killers who were in jail, to for them to be able to figure out what they had in their brains. And this booklet talks, it's like basically has information on past serial killers, and then they can write their own notes, like a diary for their own thoughts, and have their own, I guess, therapy in a way. And I feel like peer feedback processes helped me a lot, because if it wasn't for my peers or for my friend, I wouldn't be able to have came up with these ideas. And yeah, this is like my project, but it was helpful to have people comment on what I should change or what I should include in the paper, or how it sounded, and how did they like it or not. Also, I think that that is going to be helpful for me in the future, because um if I ever have peers or friends that even if friends that don't go to my class, like English class, I can always ask for their information, for their opinion. Sorry, I can be like, hey, do you like my paper? What can I change? And honestly, being honest is something that I also learned from my peers. Like it's not bad to be honest, and sometimes honesty can hurt. But when it comes to your writing and something that is important, like in school, it's better to be honest and get my feelings hurt than having a paper sound stupid because somebody didn't want to help me or didn't want me to feel bad. And that's what I learned in this class. Because the teacher was so honest with us, I feel like that helped also open up my brain or my thoughts about my own work and help me understand that okay, my paper might sound good to me, but to other people, which is honestly when you write is for other people to hear, it might not sound the same to other people. And that was a big part of my writing, getting help. And also the teacher was really honest and helpful. She would tell you straight up that it sounded like a crap sheet. And the third one was the writing process, which is it kind of goes hand in hand with the research process. Well, for me, because I wasn't all like I like writing, but it hasn't always been about process, and I would just write as it came out of my brain, and most of the times that didn't sound as good as I thought it did. And figuring out the writing process was great because I figured out that you have to think things through. Honestly, when I was writing this paper, like I said at the beginning, I wasn't sure if my question or the topic of my writing paper was going to be good, or if it had any, if I could, if I had enough information for it to sound good. But it's not this one. It's this one. I think it's this one. Oh, sorry, not this one. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, here. We were able to have like comments on our papers. Okay, this ties into the peer feedback. As you could see, we were able to share our paper and then like get feedback on parts of the paper that we weren't so sure. That sounded great, and that helped me because it made me I edited my paper in a way that it sounded better according to how they told me. And this is the same thing I said about applying it in like everyday life years from now or in the next English class I ever take. If my paper doesn't sound as good to other people, they can always comment on it like here, and they can be like, okay, so this part doesn't sound that good, or you can add more stuff to this, and so on. And oh yeah, to the back to the writing process, I think that it was honestly better for me to know what I needed to write on my paper and the writing process. For example, where is it? I think it's this one that we had to write out our the connections, like making connections to our paper. Like here, I put all my sources will make claims that killers use their writing. Honestly, I have no idea what it says. Most sources use other sources back up the information. Okay, I don't know what's going on here, but basically writing out stuff. Well, for me, I thought that writing out my paper first was like the beginning draft, and then modifying it, and then having people comment on it, like on here, was a writing process that I liked. And honestly, honestly, I feel like I learned more about how I write through this process, because other times I would have just written it and like turned it in like that, and that's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be you're supposed to write it and then have people revise it or think about it, and even if, like how teacher said, it doesn't have to sound that great, but as long as you put all your information out in the paper, you can always modify it and move things around so it sounds better. I think this class was the most fun class I've had in academic wise, honestly, and all these crap sheets and information and the writing process is going to be very helpful for me in the future, because since I'm not a big writer, I feel like these steps are going to be good for me in the future, in the long run, because now I have something to go back to and look at and like see, okay, I can use this for my information. I can use comments from my friends. I can write things down and like for me to know what I want to do for the paper. And I think that what I learned in this class will be 100% implemented in my future. And I'm just so thankful that we had such a cool teacher. So yeah, that's what I learned in this class, and hopefully my next English professor is going to be this great. Thank you.